Manio's back 1 minute late on this morning. Oh, tut tut tut. Got carried away reading the news headlines. Supposed to use this word, fat. That's what we are, they say. Fat, obese nation. Shocked the hell out of me when my nurse told me I was clinically obese. Thought of myself as round and cuddly. Why should I care? I'm over 35. And a very good morning from Lewis in East Sussex, the county town of East Sussex. A beautiful little town. And I've just looked out of the window. It's a beautiful morning. So how about getting up and get with it? Ha ha! Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio. And it's a beautiful morning, a beautiful day. So let's get out there and charge through the coronavirus. I don't mean charge through the social distancing. Oh, my, no. I went shopping last night and I only wanted 3 items and I couldn't find any of them because my glasses steamed up with my mask over my face. I bet somebody comes up with a solution to that makes them a fortune. If only I could think of it. Anyway, Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio, and welcome. Nice day out there, and we should enjoy these nice days. One of the things that is particularly nice, in my view, and because the office for Mirador Television is still in preparation, is that we are doing business in sidewalk cafes or even pubs. And to sit out on the sidewalk and I've discovered a new favourite. I don't know, my taste buds have gone off beer for some reason, perhaps because of lockdown, I have no idea. But I've been having what's called a Crabbies, and a Crabbies is a ginger beer that is alcoholic. Oh, it is superb. It is lovely. Anyway, doing business and sitting out on the sidewalk, continental style, on a nice day, with the sun beating down and the Crabbies making sure that everything is okay, is just absolutely a wonderful experience. Give it a try. You don't have to drink the Crabbies. Only Jimmy, no. Just sit out one of the little sidewalk cafes or pubs. Enjoy the sun. Observe people passing by. Observe the social niceties now. Still, don't bump into a stranger. I used to love talking to strangers. Good morning, I'd say, and they would look at me in surprise. My God, do I know this guy? Now, unfortunately, I'm saying good morning to people and I think I know them, and they've got a mask on, and when they reply, it's quite obvious that it wasn't who I thought it was, so I have to be careful about what I say. Anyway, welcome to the land of the fatties. And Boris says he's got to introduce more legislation about sugar, and we are going to all become a very slim nation. I went off sugar in 1980. My late wife decided that I was looking a little plump, and so she stopped serving me sugar of any sort. The trouble is, it's given me a real desire, a real notion for chocolate. And the other thing that I cannot do without is ice cream. I will have ice cream wherever I go for dessert, even though there are many, many other things. and looking good. Ice cream is my number one target. And I think it's probably because I am a war baby, as they call them, during the Second World War. In fact, I was born in the month that the Second World War actually started in earnest in 1939. Oh, so you can tell I'm over 35. But I existed throughout the war years on one little tablet of chocolate a day. You had a bar a week because it was all rationed. When it came off ration somewhere around 1953, I think it was, the shops emptied. Within days, the shops were empty, and they had to put them back on ration again. They just couldn't turn out the amount that people decided they wanted. But with me, it was ice cream, and I hadn't had ice cream until I am told the first one I had was on VE Day. And I can remember somebody, and whether it was tongue-in-cheek, because I don't really remember getting the ice cream, although I'm told I had it, was that every child in the country was to have ice cream that was red, white, and blue. And to this day, I believe that I did have it. But the first memory of ice cream was when Walls, who were the only people manufacturing it at that time, sent things around to places like Woolworths and British Home Stores. Remember them? And they had little... they were sort of like tubs. They were round. They were like the bales of hay that you see, a cylindrical shape, and they had a paper around them. And you got a cornet. Is that what we call them? Yes, a cornet. And you put them in the end and you ate them. The only thing is that when they came in, they also were scarce. So people would queue up. And guess what always happened? Yes, I would get to my turn to get an ice cream, and they had run out. Terribly sorry. Next batch next week. Oh, the disappointment. And then they had a sort of a machine. You held it in the hand, or at least the shopkeeper did, and they got creamy ice cream. And you put a wafer in, put the ice cream on, and he had a wooden paddle type of thing to shave it off at the top to make sure it was even, and then put the other wafer on, push the button, and up it would spring, and he would give it to you, and it would drip down your chin and your tie and your shirt and so on. But oh my goodness me, what a delicious, delicious taste. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, the sort of thing that you did on holiday. So to those people who probably are going on holiday this morning, let's say hello. Oh, I'm being left in the lurch. My co-producer, my co-worker, Annie, is taking her family off to the East Coast. English holiday, good for you, Annie. And by this time, I think should be... No, she's not on the train yet. I think it's a 7:30 train. But I suppose that all the excitement with her children and her mother and off to the station to get onto the train and go roaring off on holiday. Oh, my goodness me, it's wonderful, isn't it? So what we should do, I think, is let us... hang on. Let's be naughty. And first of all, if we're going to play anything, we should upload it, shouldn't we? So, I think I should have something now, Mr. Sunnyface. Let's play Mr. Sunnyface. Well now. Mr. Sunnyface, so if you're going on holiday this morning, there you are, doodly-doodly-doo. That was quite a nice one, I thought, quite nice. And in between, just as I was starting that track, see, I'm really with it with this DJ, as we started that track, the phone rang, and it was my daughter, who lives in Belfast in Northern Ireland, and she is going into her office for the first time today for just an hour. So I said, well, phone back a little later and let me know how it goes. What's it like walking into your office? My office is in the back of the house, so I've been walking into it right throughout lockdown. But Mirador Television is getting a new studio in the heart of Lewis. We broadcast there to the world. We are the biggest little TV in the entire universe. We emanate from a tiny town, but by golly have we got a big voice and do we roar. So why don't you join us on Mirador Television, miradortelevision.com or Roku, if you've got a smart TV or a Roku stick. And it looks as if by the end of August we will be on Fire, Amazon Fire, and Google and several others, spreading the number of people that can listen to us, which stands at about 120 million right now. Guess how many do listen? Oh, I'm not going to tell you. It doesn't rate in the millions, I can tell you that. However, we are growing. We get more and more listeners because we're so bloody daft, both on television and radio. Quirky is the name that they give. But when I was speaking to my American co-host in New York, and yes, we have a lady in New York. We have two ladies in New York, in fact. Melissa is a former broadcaster. I say a former because she has kept her hand in, but she's a legal banker. Wow, that's a good thing to be nowadays. And Suzanne Mucho, who is head of the architects department in a big New York University. And the two of them are charming and delightful, and they hand out a little bit of advice. But Suzanne is giving us a tour through Manhattan and pointing out some of the buildings and who built them and why they were built. And she came across a little pear tree which survived the entire trauma of 9/11 and is still growing, despite the fact that buildings fell down, bombings took place, aircraft crashed into the buildings. A very, very sad day for America. But this little pear tree is a symbol of hope. And Suzanne goes down and she looks at the tree, and then she tells us how New York has regenerated itself and the spirit of hope and optimism that there is there. Incidentally, I read yesterday that President Trump, who's way behind in the polls, I don't know much about Joe Biden, except that he's been around for a long time. The sad thing is about the United States is, and this comes from somebody who has lived in North America, is they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. The one thing about Trump was he was independent. He didn't cozy up to either party, although nominally he was a Republican. But the Republicans and the Democrats have not learned anything because they were totally and utterly corrupt as a government. And they probably still are as their political parties, is poor old Americans don't have much choice. The independent and unpredictable Trump that many people don't like because he can be very boorish and perhaps has made a lot of mistakes as president, or the old party system, the nomination